In progress.
Good afternoon. Hi, Cam.
Hey, Jocelyn, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Busy.
Are you, yeah, me too. Are you in your office
I
next
I
door?
I came home for the afternoon. I was in this morning. I was in Suffolk Superior, but had to get back so I could do something here at 5. Vote.
Well, yeah, you had to vote too.
Yep, I got to get over there.
I went this morning. So you've got 2 more minutes and I have to make sure if everybody's here. So we have you. We still need Jerry, David, and Scott.
I'm here. My camera's just not working.
Hi, Scott. No problem. Glad you're here.
Me too.
Hey, Cam, are you still there?
Yes.
While we're waiting for everybody else to join, I just want to say that I was going to post that notice on the next matter, but I was waiting to find out they were missing part of the plan.
I saw that.
So as soon as we get that, I just didn't want to go and post it until we had everything.
No problem. I have it blocked.
Okay, good. The 22nd, you're in charge. Be
Let's do
fun.
it.
Yeah. But I have everything ready to go. So
Sounds good.
got some vacation days coming up, but just taking 2 days per week for the next couple weeks.
It's nice.
So
You've
not
earned
not
it.
like a full week, you know. Is
I
what
know.
they
I always wonder what's best. Just get the whole week over with or take them sporadically.
Sporadically is actually working out good. I like it.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like getting all extra vacations.
That's true.
All right, 301. David, are you on? He's usually the first one here. So we have Scott.
He told me he had a meeting at 1 o'clock. I don't
Oh,
know where.
really? Oh, I'll text him. See where he's at. And Jerry too.
I'm here. How are you,
Hi,
Jocelyn?
Jerry. Good to see you. Your
Good to
shop
be
is looking
seen.
great. I go by it all the time. All the flowers out there. It looks really pretty. Because I go to Reading nonstop because half of my grandchildren live in Reading. So back and forth in that direction. Commercial Street's too busy. I'm just waiting for David.
Yeah, good. Okay, no problem.
David's logging in now. He'll be here with us in a moment. Thank goodness for Zoom. It's great. Oh, I gotta do the note taking. I think the note taking is on. I think Kristen said it was on automatically now.
It's on.
Great. I don't see it though, but I don't know who said that, but who said that it was on?
It's Jean Allen. I saw when I logged on, it said that it was taking notes.
Okay, I see the recording. I just didn't see the note take. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I did check it off, but I wasn't sure. Okay, just taking notes. Just give David a second. It'll be in shortly.
You helped me out. Thank you very much, man. I owe you money. You helped me out.
Yeah, I from Sunday.
You got it, kid.
Everybody else has to be muted except for us. Okay, make sure your volume is up. That might be why we can't hear you.
I'm on here now.
There he is. Great. Hi, David.
Hello.
Okay. Today is June 24th. It's now 3:06 p.m. I'm going to get started with the Nahant Zoning Board of Appeals meeting and hearing regarding 10 Fallon Way. That's the only matter that we have on today, so it should be relatively quick. So I'd like to find out if the homeowners are they on? And you're still represented by
Can you
Jean
hear me?
Allen? The
Yeah,
architect,
Luigi
correct?
is on.
Yes,
Great.
Marie
Okay.
is on as well.
Okay. So we have just one new thing that came up on our end before you get started. And I just want to let you know that we did discover through I communicated with the town clerk because I couldn't find any big references to the public way, private way. She confirmed for me that in 1993, Fallon Way was voted in as a public way. Okay, obviously that creates a big issue. It may be in your favor, maybe not. But I just want to make that point for you because we can't grant relief in a public way. But what I don't know is if the public way ended and we have to get to the vote that the town took and take a look at it and see what happened. If the public way, for example, ended prior to 10 Fallon Way, if this is still a private area, if it was named a public way and then discontinued, that puts the land into a different category. So we need to figure that out. I did reach out to the assessor's office and the town clerk today, and I'd be happy to share those emails with you. However, because it's election day, they weren't able to really finish the work that they were doing. So I do
No.
apologize for that. So go ahead and do your presentation and let us know about the changes that you've made and what's going on with your end of things.
Okay, can I post my presentation on the screen? Can you-
Sure. Let me just make sure
Okay.
I can do that for you.
Whoops, let's see.
Should be able to, but let me double check. Let's see.
She says they.
All right, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the PowerPoint presentation from March that we presented. And I'm just going to scroll through this just to show some of the photos that we had with this presentation. Here's 10 Fallon Way. That's 11 Fallon Way in the background, and then this is the hillside that's adjacent to our house. And this is number 7 Fallon right here. And here's another view of 10 Fallon. Here's a close-up view of the hillside that's right up against the house.
I got that there.
And then this is the entry that's facing the roadway, 10 Fallon Way. And these are the existing stairs that are on that road that we are removing.
We've all been there, just so you know. Okay.
Huh?
We've all been by the site. That's what we always look
Okay.
at.
Okay. So we know that the house is in a dilapidated condition. We want to tear it down.
Okay, everyone should be muted except for Jean and the board.
We would like to demo the house and reconstruct new construction. This is the house that was presented, at the last meeting. And the comments were that it was too tall. So what we did, here is a perspective view from the street. What we did for this presentation, the revisions that we made,
With this thing here.
were to take the whole house, put the basement underground, and just lower the house 4 feet. And so right now, what we're proposing is that the roof is 4 feet below the existing ridge.
What do you mean by that, Jean? Do you mean that it's 4 feet lower than the existing height or the prior
Yes.
plan?
Where the ridge, the existing house, the ridge of the existing house,
Okay,
it's 4 feet lower,
okay,
or higher, excuse me.
okay. I was just gonna say that doesn't look right to me. Okay, good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the same floor plans, we just lowered the house. And the basement then is all underground. And at the back of the house is actually a retaining wall. This is the side of the house that faces the slope. And that whole foundation is a retaining wall to retain all that soil. As you can see from this drawing, you can see the foundation wall. And so right now we have a lot of water that is uncontrolled. It's coming from the properties above. It's running down into 10 Fallon, and it's running down the street. It's running into 7 Fallon. It's running, there's no control plan for where the water goes and how it's contained. So we have our site engineer has come up with a site plan where the water is controlled and filtered, and so that we can keep all of the water runoff from our house from running into the adjacent properties. Rich, do you want to talk about your site plan? Could you jump on? Our site engineer is on.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. Could you talk about this site plan?
Sure. And I'm going to repeat what you just said, which is that the runoff that is coming onto our property and onto the abutters property.
Excuse me for a
That
second, Jay.
is-
Could you just identify yourself?
I apologize. Yes, my name is Rich Williams with Williams and Sparagus. Our offices are in Middleton, Massachusetts.
And you are a civil engineer?
Yes, civil engineer.
Okay. And you have a you stamp the plans, right? You're licensed?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Just want to get an idea. Make sure I knew who you were before we got going. Okay, keep going. Thank you, sir.
No problem. So the runoff that comes onto our property and onto the properties below is the result of runoff from above us, which we can't control. So we can't stop or control the fact that there's water coming down the hill. What we're trying to do is do our best to mitigate for that and improve the situation. So we have proposed a few things. One is there are two drains that right now exit onto the hill from above us. The two is a 6-inch PVC and a 4-inch PVC. Our proposal is to collect those and discharge them into a drain manhole in the existing drain in Fallon Road. And it might make sense for me to share my screen so I can point these things out.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the outlets from drainage that's going on above the hill. We're proposing to collect those and put them into this existing pipe. In addition to that, we've proposed a stone infiltration trench at the base of this lot to collect and infiltrate some of the runoff. It will not collect and infiltrate all of the runoff, but it is in an effort to improve the situation. Right now, there's runoff coming off the hill, and we're not paving any of this. It's gravel now. It's going to be gravel when we're done. So we're not increasing the runoff, but adding this trench will provide some help for that. Also, we're proposing an infiltration trench here to collect runoff that comes down this way, and in an effort to infiltrate in this location. Then we've got roof runoff, which currently the roof runoff is just coming off the house and going down the hill. We're collecting that and putting it into a roof drain, subsurface, piping, and discharging it where the existing outlet is for this 8-inch pipe. And then a roof drain on the lower side, because we can't get this without being above grade to here. We're proposing to discharge it here. So the effect of all of that is to reduce the runoff that goes to the down gradient abutters, and put that runoff into the right of way.
Can I ask a question? I'm sure the board's gonna have a lot of questions, but just my gut question is, have you discussed this with the town?
Yes.
We did have a discussion with the DPW about it.
This is Zach Taylor, DPW Superintendent. I'm on just to answer any technical questions. I did visit the site and I have looked at the plans. So I am aware of what's happening. So I'm just listening, and I'm here to answer any questions on the town side.
Great. Okay, hang on. We'll finish up the presentation, then we'll get into our questions. I'm sure we'll have some for you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Williams. If you could just hang on, maybe if Jean wants to finish her presentation, then we'll come back with some questions.
I think that's pretty much it. Everyone's had a chance to review the drawings, so I can answer any questions that the participants have regarding the drawings, but it's basically the same.
I'd like to add one thing.
Okay.
Just, I know that you mentioned that this is a public way and you can't really provide relief in a public way, but I just wanted to point out none of the structure or the stairs or anything that are attached to the structure are proposed in the right of way.
Well,
Right,
the
so we're
house, the house,
clearing the right of way entirely. And the proposed house is exactly on the same footprint
right,
as the existing house. We just squared off the front corner
right. And I'm sure
to make it a rectangle.
we do need to look into that issue because I just found out about it yesterday. So we will get to the bottom of that. Again, it may be non-issue, but we'll find out. All right, so if you're done with your presentation, do you want to leave this up, Mr. Williams, for now? And we'll see if we have any questions. We're going to talk as a board for a few minutes and let the board members ask any questions that they may have. And we'll just go from there. So David, we have with us David Walsh. We have Jerry Raphael, Cameron Merrill, and Scott O'Frias. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the plan that we sent out?
I have had time to look at it. This is David Walsh. I have several questions. First of all, I think we need to get something squared away on whether this is a public or private way. From what I know, and I was talking to Sheila Hamilton today because I was at a meeting with her, it's public way for the purpose of plowing and trash pickup. It was never, back in 1993, it was never done properly to turn it into a real public way. So for all practical purposes, it is a private way.
That may be the case, but I think we do need David to make sure, because if it is a public way, we have no right to grant relief in a public way. And I was told by the town clerk in an email that it is a public way. So we
Well-
need to clarify, whether the town went through those 3 steps they're supposed to go through under Mass General Laws, Chapter 82,
Right.
involving layout, the vote, etc.
Yep.
And it
I know-
did start out as a prescriptive easement, and then the town voted it in as a public way. So
I
don't
know
know,
that
but
the
I have to
town
ask
didn't,
about that.
excuse me.
We're gonna continue that talk, right?
We're gonna have to.
When we figure this out.
Yeah.
Right now, we're
Right.
talking about the project, and the footprint and the drainage.
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the questions I had on drainage, where does the drainage end? Does the drainage go all the way down to Wilson Road?
So,
Does
Dave,
not.
this is Zach. It
Yeah.
discharges onto Fallon Way, as it is. It discharges to the surface of Fallon Way. So what I'm thinking is the amount of ledge in Fallon Way, they never put subsurface drainage in. So right now,
At what
upper
point
Fallon,
exactly does it surface?
it surfaces at 10 Fallon Way. So the upper Fallon Way drains to a catch basin up top that flows subsurface down the retaining wall to lower Fallon Way, where it discharges onto the roadway surface. And the pitch of Fallon brings it down to Wilson, where there's catch basins on the intersection of Wilson and Fallon. And it goes subsurface to eventually, the ocean.
Okay, so really it comes out actually right beside
Yeah, it's like right at
8,
10.
right
Yeah,
beside
it's
8 James Ave, correct?
James.
8 James Ave is the house right beside or right in front of 10 Fallon.
Exist.
That actually is.
Okay,
isn't that
so-
7, James?
Mr. Taylor, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So, Mr. Williams, will this then help the neighborhood with the runoff? Does it help this Fallon Way, upper and lower, improve the water surface?
I think it's not exacerbating anything. It's making sure that the work they're doing isn't impacting anything negatively.
Right.
As far as a positive impact, I'll have to see, how much water that's taking on, but I don't think it's adding to the existing runoff.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Taylor, can I ask a question too?
Yes.
Are the pipes in that street sufficient to handle this connection and
Yeah, I mean, it's basically what he's talking about is there's one trench drain that will have perforated pipe in it along the new driveway. That'll capture any additional runoff for the driveway, which will be minimal. That'll discharge into the existing pipe, which it's large enough to handle. And then I actually had a question on the roof drains and how that's gonna be discharged to the street. But I think that can be worked out. And the only other issue I had was I just want to make sure that we can still get up there and plow and that emergency vehicles have access up there. And like I said, as far as the drainage goes, I don't think they're negatively impacting the surrounding properties. The town has an issue up there with discharging to the roadway surface, but again, that's a existing town issue. Where we may in the future look to put some additional subsurface drainage on Fallon. It's not immediately planned at that time.
and how do you have any opinion of right now about the plan to go deeper with the house, to dig an additional 3 or 4 feet down because we're going to lower that basement?
Yeah, so I can't really speak on that as long as the engineer has looked at, the pressure and all that the foundational work that I'd have to defer to him on that.
There's a lot of concern. We actually have a couple of letters that came in opposition to this matter, from the DeStefanos, who are, the closest property right next door. And we're going to get into those after we ask our questions. So we may have more questions as time goes on, but I just wanted to kind of ask that initially because they're so close. It's very concerning there. All right. So as far as the drainage is concerned, are there any more questions on that piece from the members?
As far as what's concerned, sorry.
The drainage.
No.
Well, he just mentioned the downspouts. Mr. Taylor did. Mr. Williams, do you have a plan on connecting downspouts?
Yeah, this is this P line labeled PRD is proposed roof drain. So
Yeah, proposed roof drains.
downspouts will be connected to that line and to this lower line.
And it's
So,
where's it discharging to?
2 locations. The uphill side
Yeah.
discharges right next to where the
I see the
existing outlet is.
outlet. Yeah.
And then the lower one is down here.
And it's not a direct discharge. It's a stone trench with perforated pipe.
Yeah.
Where that's ultimately going to allow some water to, percolate. Yeah. And then
slow it down.
Yeah.
Can I step in for a minute?
Who's this?
You guys hear me?
This is Luigi.
This is the owner.
We're busy asking questions, but go ahead. A quick one.
Okay. So I understand all this concern about this water.
Paradise.
But up to now, there's been all kinds of discharge water coming into my property from the person up top and the person on the right. We are trying to fix a problem that should have been fixed a long time ago. So it's not that we created anything. We are fixing the water that's been coming down all these years that destroyed the house. So these pipes that the engineer was showing, those pipes were sitting there. I didn't put them there. Columbus didn't put them there. Somebody put them there. So we're trying to connect and making sure that the water doesn't go over the Stefano's house. Does that make sense?
Yeah, Mr. Luigi, we understand everything. You have Mr. Williams here as an engineer, and we were just discussing where things are draining and
I
the
understand.
a lot
I understand that,
we
but nobody's yeah, go ahead.
we're just trying to make sure that all the water that's
Yes.
coming off your roof is going into a discharge system and draining properly. That's what we're discussing right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you.
So if we have no more questions on the drainage, I'd like to, at this time, kind of talk about the two letters of opposition that we received. Because they are very significant, and they're from Mrs. De Stefanos, who are right next door at 7 James Avenue. The first one was from Robin De Stefano, the owner of the home, owner and resident of 50 years there in Nahant, and an abutter of 10 Fallon Way. She says that I am the primary resident affected by the construction, being 9 feet away from this house. I am not opposed to construction on this property, but I cannot support the scope for what the Arsenieros are asking. Other abutters have written letters addressing many concerns, and we've addressed those letters in prior hearings. I would like to go on record supporting their concerns as well as give you mine. And she says that I would like to address the liability of damage to our home and the others on Fallon Way. There are going to be flatbed trucks, prefab house parts, cranes, putting the house together, backhoes, cement mixers, etc. on Fallon Way. All owners on Fallon Way have their water lines and gas lines under the street, which is not very well constructed. Will this weight cause line breakage, gas leaks, damage to the road? Is there an engineering report about these issues with excavation on that lot? What if my fieldstone foundation collapses due to the deep excavation of the full basement within 9 feet of my back wall to my home? Who pays for that? I believe the basement is too deep for safe construction next to my home. I could support a one-story home on a slab or a crawl space, even if it covered more land area. I thank you for all your work on this request. And then I received a 2-page typed letter from Mr. Stefano's daughter at 7 James Avenue, Catherine Stefano. I'm not going to read the entire thing. The gist of it's very similar to what her mother wrote. However, she does state that her main concern is with the proposed basement as well, and that per the submitted plans, the basement will be over 3 feet deeper than the existing basement. And she points to the markups that were submitted by the neighbors. The neighbors have marked up both the building plans and the site plans, which I'll show you in a moment. And they're concerned about soil instability from the existing stream flow over the years, particularly as it applies to the thin strip of land between their properties and 10 Fallon Way. And of course, the property owners have a right to make any changes. However, as abutters need to ensure we are also protected. Has there been an engineering inquiry into the excavation? Again, that was a question that Mrs. Stefano's mother had asked. And if there's some repetition there, I won't go into that. But she also asks, it also appears that the off-street parking is not compliant with required spaces per the dwelling designed in the table in our bylaws. The allowable space entry to these proposed spaces is also less than 12 feet with a 90-degree entry, which seems only feasible for one ultra-compact car. As I understand it, this house is also partially located on a public right-of-way. Current construction plans with the proposed parking access would effectively negate any attempts to recover the town's right-of-way for public access in the future. The proposed roof drainage appears to funnel water directly into the basement door alcove of 7 James Avenue. I think that's not what Mr. Williams just described, but we can address that further. I promise we do not need any help with water in our basement, and I'm not sure this would have been a good start of a neighborly relationship. The house at 10 Fallon Way has been neglected for years, and we're excited for it to finally be cared for. However, the bringing in a building of the size proposed with the parking as designed does not seem feasible for the existing property or neighborhood. I strongly believe excavation of the proposed basement could be dangerous and negatively affect abutting properties, all of which are intimately close to each other. So essentially, that's essentially the letter from Catherine's, and I'll place these on record with the building department. They already are on record. So that's that. I think what would be a good important here too is to see the markups that were proposed. We did receive plans from the neighbors in general that had markups on them. And we can maybe address some of their concerns at this time. Does the board want to do that?
Sure.
Sure.
Board members, you want me to open that up? Jerry, David?
Yes.
Yes, please
Okay.
do.
All right, so Mr. Williams, could you stop sharing, and I'm going to share my my stuff. Okay. So we have a copy of that. And can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So the first thing we have here is, I'm just going to have to move some of these tops so I can see. Okay. Let's go to the site plan. This is the site plan that has been marked up by the neighbors, and I'm going to reduce it a little bit to get it more into the, you can all see it. And so the neighbors sent this markup, and I believe this came from, was it Vicky Fortino? Are you present?
Yeah, yes, hi. I just got
Okay,
off mute.
You're the one who sent the plan, correct?
I'm the one who marked these up and sent
Mark
them.
these up and send them, okay.
Yeah.
So we've already gone over, I think, some of the issues that you've
Right.
raised in your opposition here. Can you tell us, just without doing any repetition, because it sounds like some of these things have been addressed by the engineer and by the town, DPW in a good way. So tell us what your remaining concerns might be.
Yeah, I mean, these were technical questions to understand the drawing. So in pink highlight, I didn't know what those pipes were. I guess there are pipes there. I never saw anything like that there, but I guess
Okay.
so. I I I I just I did want to just sort of close the loop on what Robin's concerns were. In blue highlight are the two downspouts. And I just was sort of, this doesn't affect me, but in fairness to Robin, we were trying to understand what that downspout that ends at her property, is that going to be buried below the street? Are you saying that's a perforated pipe in a stone trench covered up by asphalt?
So Mr. Williams, can you answer that maybe?
Rich?
Yeah, there'll be a trench. Actually, this roof all pitches in this direction from low to high, actually. So the whole roof can be collected in this high side and discharged here. And I apologize, I just noticed that on the plan. This this lower one here can be we can get rid of that, so there is not a discharge over here.
And by over
So-
here, can you just tell us what you mean by that? The south side, the north side?
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pointing to your screen thinking that you can see it. The south side, yes.
What color line was it? Is it like a
Blue.
bluish color? Yeah.
Yeah, it's in blue. I highlighted the two roof downspouts in blue.
Yeah, the roof drain that let me just get a direction here. That is on the east side of Fallon Way, shown in blue on your screen right now.
With the stairs.
Yeah, that wasn't
shown
the
in
one I
blue.
was talking about. I was talking about the
Yeah,
other
that
one.
that is not necessary, so we can get rid of that and just do the other blue one that that will collect the whole roof because it's a flat roof or pitched, and it's not a peaked roof. It's pitched from south to north. I'm sorry, north to south.
Okay, so you want to drain the whole roof onto the north side of the.
Yeah, we have
north
a
side of the
pipe
house.
that's proposed to collect and discharge that. And the reason is that right now the whole roof goes onto the surface and flows onto the neighbor. So the only way to fix that is to reroute that away from them and onto the street, which is what we're doing. That's the only way to fix it.
May I ask a question? My name's Nancy Fox, and thanks for running through this. We appreciate it. Where you're
Ms. Fox,
rerouting this,
what's your address, Ms. Fox?
5 Fallon Way, so I'm the house. When you look at the picture where where the water rushes out like it's an ocean when it rains, and it's an ice skating rink in the winter, that seagrass is my backyard there. If you're adding to a drain, is that where you would connect into? And right about another 4 feet from there is my cellar window. So adding I guess you'd propose to drain the whole roof and connect into that pipe that's there now that gushes When it rains, it's unbelievable what comes out of there. And then it floods down at the bottom of Wilson Road, too.
So, Mrs. Fox, you understand that this plan that Mr. Williams designed is going to help, and it's gonna prevent that, and it's going to help the whole drainage system for this whole area. That's why he's here, and that's why this plan is designed to be better than what you have now.
Board Member Raphael, I
Everything you do is going to
represent,
be better than what you have now. So I just want to let you know that up front, okay?
Board Member Raphael, this is Lisa McGloin. I represent Ms. Fox. From what I can see, based on this plan and based on it linking into that small 8-inch pipe, there's 2 sources of water being added to it, so that while the DPW says that it's not creating, and I heard the member from the DPW say it's not creating more of a water plant problem that exists, I think it may be redirecting the water all to one area, which is towards Miss Fox's house. It's coming off the roof drain, which may help the abutter to the left, but it's redirecting it into this small 8-inch drain that abuts Miss Fox's. Plus, they're talking about draining from up above into the trench that they've created here that runs along her property. And that would also go through that same 8-inch drain all over coming onto her property.
Can I throw a monkey wrench into this just for a second? Our flooding has nothing to do with drains on the roof. The roofs are fine. We've never had any issue from the drainage from the roof. Everything has been perfectly fine. Our flooding issues are because of the stream that runs down through the mountain. And I know it is not their fault. It's been there for 50 years. I understand that. But what I have is I have a stream that runs, actually, you have not put a French perforated pipe where the stream actually comes into my basement and goes under their house. There's a French perforated pipe everywhere else except for where the water comes into my house from underneath the house there. The water issue is not the drainage off the house. The water issue is the stream that runs down the hill. And I think that the French perforated pipe would do the trick, but I'd love to have one put behind my house.
And
again,
I'd love to answer that question, but I'm not sure where that stream is, because we've got a trench.
I can actually tell you exactly where it comes into my house. If you look on this map right here and you see the 2 little red lines with the arrows right below proposed retaining wall. See the proposed retaining wall that's on my house?
Are you talking about right here, Mr.
Yeah, those
Stefano?
2 lines right there.
here?
That is where it comes in. That's why I have a beach in my basement.
You have
And it's not the drainage from the roof, it's the drainage from the hill.
So this is Zach, the DPW superintendent. That's pretty typical in that area to have heavy groundwater flow. Just because of the elevation change, we're dealing with it all throughout Wilson Road, all the connecting roads.
It's been there for 50 years.
Yeah,
I've dealt with it for 50 years. And I'm just nervous that going down 4 more feet may be good. It may drop it down below my house and I'll be thrilled. Or it could make it worse. And it's just, I'm noticing these nice French pipes on everybody else's place, but not on mine.
We can talk.
Comment.
So we're talking.
So this is Zach Taylor again from the DPW. The 2 pink, those 2 pipes that you're questioning, they must have been put in by a homeowner. I don't know if it's the existing homeowner that put it in, but those capture water from Upper Fallon Way that would have pooled kind of in that driveway on Upper Fallon Way. And right now, those are discharging to the surface directly to 10. So those are going to be rerouted into this drain. Those are going to increase the flow, but it's just going to be during rain events. And the roof drains will be negligible because they'll be initially discharged into a crushed stone pit. And then whatever additional water is, not contained by the crushed stone is going to discharge through an existing 8-inch outlet. Again, drainage on Fallon is not ideal for anybody. So again, that's something that the town can look at and see if we can get subsurface drainage to connect to that existing 8-inch discharge that now discharges to the road. But I don't think you're going to be impacting the situation. Again, you're adding water to it, but all this water is eventually getting down somewhere as it is.
Pick me up. Hey, Zach, there's a note on this drawing. I think you'd have to pan down, because I can't see it on the screen. My comments were numbered.
Number was
So, okay, I think it's number 8. During heavy rainfall, water pours down. So,
Yeah, so that's
So
probably
what
like a gap in the berm up there.
yeah, there's a gap.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so the catch basin at the top doesn't always catch everything. And then I shovel it out somewhat regularly because it just gets covered up.
Yeah, I agree. I agree
But
that can be.
there's a gap. And so we've had some monstrous rainstorms and
Yeah.
it's like a waterfall coming down that hill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, nothing is ideal up there, but we can look at, now that we have the house going in, we can look at how we can improve situations that are already existing over there. But again, that's an existing issue, a town issue.
yeah.
And I think the issue with that 8-inch pipe discharging to the surface is also a town issue and an issue that more people than just 10 Fallon Way. It's an issue for everybody downstream.
If you want to see a picture of that, if you pan up, I embedded a picture onto this and it shows that. It just for people who haven't seen it, you can see that that's how it discharges. So,
This is Attorney Lisa McGloin. I have a photo of that as well next to my client's property to the extent that's helpful.
okay.
Very similar.
Yeah, probably better because it's
Better, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I also want to speak at some point. We can stay on the subject of drainage for everybody, but I wanted to talk about retaining walls, particularly the 8-foot one that's going up in the right of way.
Before we go off of drainage, I have one more request of clarification. I did want to talk about this blue line that dumps into my basement from the house, and someone did comment on it that it was not going to be there. I just want to be guaranteed because not only does the blue line dump right into my cellar doorway, but it also is on my property and goes underneath my air conditioner.
Yeah, Robin, that they said they could eliminate that. That
Yeah,
clears
that's
up
what I
a
wanted
lot of
clarification that they are
Yeah,
going to
it
eliminate.
clears up a lot of heartburn for me too as well.
Yeah, we can get rid of that. If you don't mind, would you let me share my screen again? Because I just want to I want to show one thing, which is the overall watershed to this property. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
This is Massachusetts GIS, and it's pretty handy because they have 1-foot contours. And this is 10 Fallon Way. That's the lot that's that we're talking about, and the watershed to, and when I say watershed, meaning the area that it contributes to flow to 10 Fallon Way includes this whole hill. This is the top of the hill up here.
Yep.
So all of this is collected, and it explains why there's so much flow that comes down this hill. It's not a surprise, and it's not created by 10 Fallon. It's created by what's that?
I said, we know that it's not created by 10 Fallon.
No, I appreciate that. I just wanted to show so that everyone could see how much it is, on a map.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right.
I'll stop.
So back to the members. Did everyone have all their questions asked so far regarding drainage and the plans that were provided to us?
I guess
Not really.
Yeah, I have a
I
question,
think it's
Jocelyn. I mean,
go ahead, Kevin.
I appreciate the plans and the changes, but this is a question I asked at the last hearing and I was hoping to have resolved by now, and I don't think it is. I'm actually even more confused. There's new construction there. We're expanding a bump out for stairs and we're expanding what looks like a window well, yet the building coverage numbers didn't change. We have an unexplainable existing FAR number at 0.45 when I don't think that's accurate. And we have a proposed FAR number, which I'm having trouble calculating. So to me, it looks like we have maybe a special permit and a variance, and the special permit wasn't applied for. But I shouldn't have to guess that this should be presented to us with explanations for why the relief is being requested. And so that's my big concern. What's the context that we're even reviewing this under? Substantially more detrimental or variance? I think it's a variance on FAR, but I'd love to hear why that might not be the case.
Okay. Do the applicants want to address that?
I don't think it's
The
detrimental. Go ahead, Gene. I'm sorry.
For FAR, isn't it a matter it's a occupied space so that there's a certain amount of headroom that's required to be included in FAR?
Right.
So
Well, I'll tell you where I'm
would
at. So the existing that I'm getting is 0.3988, so 0.4, which is permitted now, not non-conforming. The proposal goes to 0.77, notwithstanding the fact that the basement is just 1 inch shorter than would be counted, which stands out to me. So we're doubling
the basement
FAR.
would not be counted for FAR.
I agree with you based
Right?
on the fact that it's 6'11" instead of
Okay.
7 feet. So,
Okay.
but
So
we're
if the
still
basement's
doubling
not included for
FAR, and
FAR,
we're
why
creating
would
a new.
the
Wait, if you just let me finish, I'll
okay.
clarify. So we're creating a new nonconformity of floor area ratio, which almost doubles the allowed floor area ratio. So I want to square that away with all of the things that we've heard.
We're not in compliance with FAR with what we're proposing. This is true. But the egress window and the basement access was not included in the FAR calculation.
Right. We also have building coverage, and I believe that those two things would add to building coverage.
And we also
Max
own
building
another land
coverage.
on the right? Do we own another land on the right-hand side, sir?
I don't know. These are the questions I'm asking. I don't present the answers to these questions. I'm asking these. I should be told the answers to these questions.
So what we thought we knew is that we have another piece of land on the right-hand side that because the road is dividing it, they're telling us they're not sure if you can combine those two lots together. When it comes to paying taxes, there's two deeds. We've been paying taxes on that piece of land and on the house. So I was trying to get a lawyer to come in and represent us for that. We're not trying to do anything wrong. So if you put the two lots together, we felt that we're asking, 600 square feet more to go up? And the reason why we're asking for the extra space is that because we have two grandchildren that we adopting that we're trying to raise. Now, it's been a year and some months, right? It's kind of sad. The community of Nahant is not what I expected. I understand everybody's concerns. I understand that people are worried about their old home. Every home gets old. I didn't create this problem. So every time I come down and we do new plans, I got neighbors up on top of the hill throwing water in my yard that nobody talks about. I got architects at the beginning who didn't do their job right. I got neighbors that wanted a big wall. They cost me all kinds of money. So you guys tell me how I can do this show. Tell
I'll
me
just
what you guys
the
want.
reason why it's important is because assuming if you do get the relief that you want, if you get to build this house, we need to draft a legal memorandum explaining how we got there. So I just
Right.
that's why I'm seeking the clarity on that. It's not whether I support it or don't support it, regardless if I
Right.
support it or not. I need to know that.
Right. No, I understand that. And I tried to get a lawyer to come. The lawyer didn't want to come because he doesn't want to get involved with Nahant people. I was going to get somebody else. And I said, no, we're not asking for miracles. Listen, we bought this house. We didn't think this was going to happen. So my thing is, seems like you're telling me we're back in square one. So I bought a house with two lots of land. I pay taxes on 2 lots of land. So does the town want to buy the lot back? Does the town want to buy the house back? I'll sell it back to you guys. So if I have two lots of land, hold on. If I have 2 lots of land and you put them together, do we have the right amount to build this house?
Mr. Luigi,
Yeah.
listen, we're here trying to resolve and making sure the paperwork is correct. So Mr. Merrill is trying to help you, saying that your math or something's wrong here. I don't know if it's your architect, your engineer. Maybe you need to go back and make sure that the math and the calculations are all right before you present them to us. And if it's a special permit or a variance, needs to be presented to us in the correct manner for you to move forward. So we're trying to have you understand all this.
Well, here's the confusion part, right? I just found out, not even be started, that there's an issue with the street, right? Nobody talked about that before. I went out and got a new engineer, a new architect, right? We were late, then we came back. So this Zoom thing, right? Some people love it, right? I can't stand the freaking thing because I'm supposed to show you guys, or the architect is supposed to show you guys what's going on. Then you guys tell me what you guys want. You tell me what you guys want, because we went more and beyond. This hasn't been 2 months. This has been a year and some time. If you want to tell me I can't do it, then tell me, listen, you can't do it. So you're trying to tell me that I got to be more prepared. I paid them. I didn't pay one person. I paid 2 people to do the job right. So can we tell them, or can you guys tell them what you guys want?
Okay, Mr. Luigi, okay, we get a good understanding of how you feel about this, and I know it's been difficult for you. And you did buy the property last August, we saw that. However, you have to understand that this is a very complicated situation. And we're doing all we can to try and see this work. What's interesting to me, and I think the board and I we're gonna talk about this in a few minutes amongst ourselves, is that none of the neighbors are saying that you can't build here. They're all been supportive. They're all supportive. They're just saying that
No, there's only
they
one
want you to build
person
something smaller, and they want to make sure
Okay.
that they're not going to be affected. So let us do our job. And then what Mr. Merrill is saying is that the application was for a special permit, but there's possibility here that we need to provide a variance. We need to issue a variance.
And I'm not against that. I'm not going against that. But for some reason, I'm not getting that information. So shouldn't somebody tell me that? Shouldn't somebody tell me exactly what we need to do? So I hired an architect and an engineer to build this house. And now you guys tell me what you guys want.
Sounds like they're trying hard
we
to do a
heard,
good job.
yeah, first we heard tweak it down. We tried to tweak it down. Then there was the water issue. We straightened the water issue. Now the 2 sisters on the right-hand side are worried about this 8-foot wall that I paid all kinds of money for. And now they're telling me it's not good enough. So you guys tell me. You tell me what you want, and we'll get you what you want.
Madam Chair?
Thank you. Thank you there. Thank you for that comment. Okay, we're going to go back to the meeting now, the hearing, and get back on track, please.
I just want to make one
Attorney
correction,
McLaughlin,
please.
did you have a question? Shoot, 1 second,
I-
ma'am. The attorney came in first. I want to ask Attorney
Okay.
McLean, did you have a question?
Madam Chair, I just want to raise some issues when appropriate with respect to parking in the street, which I have a lot of compassion for Mr. Luigi's situation, but I do want to raise whenever that's appropriate to be heard.
Okay, why don't you tell us now, since you're on the floor here, tell us what the concerns you have are.
Well, as I said, I represent probably the person that's second or third most affected here by this plan, which is Nancy Fox at 5 Fallon Way. And first, I just want to make clear, we're not against some renovation or proposal to this house, but we have concerns about what is proposed here. I think the first question that I've had ever since I've worked on this project with Ms. Fox is this a public or private way, which you've been raising today? If it's a paper street and it's not been taken, they own to the center point. Well, I think they've built into the center point, the original owner.
Just so you know, because we're going to that big deal, we have already discussed this before, and we're all well aware of it. We're well aware of the derelict fee statute. We're well aware of the half point. And if it's a private way, there are different ways that this is going to be treated. But we just found out yesterday that this was actually voted in as a public way, whether it was done properly or not. And we're going to find that out. So just sit tight on that subject, okay?
But just going to that point, that I think there's one additional thing that needs to be added. If it is a public way, or if it is either, I think they've built into it. And he wants some answers. I'm not sure that he has the right to build into it to the midline. You have the right to use it to the midline, but
Of course, but that's
I'm
not
raising that
not
issue.
yet. We can't determine that yet until we know the answer.
I think either one, he's not able to. So that's what I guess I'm saying. The second issue is the parking. These are, you said before you were aware of Warden versus Town of Ward with the parking. That's a separate lot. And to get there, they have to cross over my client's section of the private way or whatever the way is. And again, the turn radius isn't adequate. The size of that is not adequate. And it raises some serious concerns for my client. The third issue, I think, is this new proposed drainage here with the crushed stone going along the length of my client's property, which that may help, but it is concerning to know, and there's no water study proposed here. It's just a plan. As if that's all going into this 8-inch drain that's already overburdened, and then you have the drainage from the roof and the existing drainage. My client's already testified, it pools water all by the side of her house, and that is going to make a larger problem for her redirecting that water. And I heard the DPW mention the potential for underground, which may be a long-term solution, but would like to hear some solutions on that before this project is approved.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so back to the
Thank you for your
board.
time.
And I'm sorry, one of the homeowners wanted to make a comment because we're doing this little
Yeah.
discussion. We will let you do
Yes.
that, but then we need to get back to our discussion. So please
Yes,
go ahead and
just-
speak.
Quickly, I just, for the sake of accuracy, and want to go for the record that the house was purchased in June of 2025.
Okay.
All right, go.
Okay, can we get back to the retaining walls? Just some technical questions.
What are they made of?
For Rich Williams.
Go.
Oh, okay, is
Would you like
that,
to ask a further question?
yeah, is that okay? All right.
We move on.
Okay, so let's see, so sort of number 3 down there. So this looks like a pretty good solution with this retaining wall, this boulder retaining wall. We could use a little more detail on that to see like, how that's being stacked. Is it a gravity wall? And it didn't look to me, by looking at the grading lines, it looks like it looks like the grade is like, the finished grade is 40 feet and the proposed grade is to excavate down to 35 feet. So 40 minus 35 is 5 feet. So that would be more like a 5-foot retaining wall in there. It's just very, very steep, that hill. So I just
What's
wanted
your question?
kind of clarification on it's.
Who's your question directed to? Did you have a question to?
Oh,
that
my
you wanted
question
me
is to
direct
Rich, it's to Rich Williams.
Okay, engineer Mr. Williams, can you answer that question?
Yeah, this is Zach from the DPW. I'd probably request a detail too on the wall, and that's probably pretty easy to provide if you can just, similar to the piping detail, if you can just add a detail for the boulder, how
Well,
you're building the boulder wall.
yeah, both boulder walls. So like a cross section would be good, but I have to say I am really concerned with that, with the 8-foot wall and its proximity to the corner of our 10-foot, 10-inch retaining wall. We have a massive retaining wall that's holding up this hill.
Yeah,
And so that to me is, we already hired a civil engineer to kind of look the situation over. And he sort of educated us about the zone of influence. And it just looks like that, it looks like that 8-foot wall is in excavation for that 8-foot wall, even though it's a boulder wall, would be within the zone of influence.
Yeah,
And it's
just
sort of
don't know.
bumped, it like the two boulder walls don't line up. So then there's these like, you know, vertical sections north to south. What's holding that up? It just
Yeah, that
seemed,
should all be tied in. Yeah.
yeah, it just seemed like maybe just needs a little more, just needs a little more detail and a little more looking at the existing grades, because the 8-foot wall in particular, where it
Yeah,
Just so
I'm,
you
I'm
know,
sure,
I
I'm
want
sure
to
we'll
address
do
that
that.
right now. Could you slow down for a second? So Rich Balducci, the building commissioner, did comment on the 8-foot wall. And he said that it's going to require an engineering plan. Just so you know, okay?
Mhm.
right. And
Thank you.
I also think possibly that other boulder wall is going to be higher than 3 feet. And I'm not sure I'm correct on this, but I thought over 3 feet requires like cross section and engineering.
Over
Yeah.
5 or 4 feet and over. I'm sorry, 4 feet and
Oh,
over.
it's 4 feet. No,
48
okay.
inches.
Well, that
48.
one looked like it might be 5 in the end to make that work.
Okay, just so the the architect is aware that the
Okay.
Yeah.
building commissioner did mention that it would require an engineering plan for any wall.
No, we
over 48
understand that. Before we bring in a structural engineer, because they're very costly, we wanted to see what the result of our meetings and our requests were. I understand that if you have a retaining wall, it needs to be engineered. We will do that, but it's for this process, we didn't think that we were ready to invest in a structural engineer, but we do understand that. This is the first time that I've seen this plan, and we were not given time to review this. The neighbors up on the hill, they have 2 pipes that are discharging water directly onto Luigi and Maria's property. I mean, a lot of what we're doing is trying to solve the problem that begins up on the hill. And all of that water is being discharged onto their property. And so, we have trenches that we're proposing. We have drainage, subsurface drainage, and we're collecting all of the water off the roof. So I think this is a tremendous improvement to what is existing, because you've got those big roofs on the existing house. The water is it's not being collected and it's going everywhere. So, so this would be an improvement, because all that water is being collected and distributed into the city drain. And then that wall that's on the back of the hill, that really tall retaining wall, if there's a gap in it, I mean, aren't those residents supposed to fix that so that water doesn't discharge onto Luigi and Maria's property? A lot of this is from the neighbors. So we're trying to make those corrections.
All right, so thank you, appreciate that.
Can I just clarify one thing about the 3 foot,
Quickly,
4
please,
foot,
we need to
8?
get to our meeting and we're running out of time.
The point about the 3 foot wall, if maybe not engineering, if it's 3 feet, the steepness of the hill really needs to be accounted for to see whether 3 feet can really work. That's the issue too.
Okay.
Well, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
they have to be engineered if they're over 48 inches, that's the building code according to Rich Balducci, okay?
So
So before any permits are issued, they're gonna
yeah, I
have
just
to
wanted to
get an
comment
engineering
about
plan.
about the architect's last comment.
It's not
that-
here, we're not here to comment back and forth. We're here to get the
Yeah.
presentation.
No, I
and
just
move
was
on by discussion.
clarifying that
Good.
water is not, that water is coming down the paved
Street,
upper street of Fallon.
not our wall.
It's off our property line. It's
You have
it's
two
entirely.
pipes.
All right,
You
let's
have
not get
two
into an argument
pipes
about
that
that.
are,
Okay, we're gonna move on.
you do have two pipes that
We
are
do, yeah,
releasing
on our-
water.
Property.
They
You know, it's
drop.
coming from your property into those pipes and discharging onto their property.
No,
Yeah,
Gene,
okay.
that's not, we can do something separately and
Yeah.
I can
Clarify.
I can clarify that.
Yeah, just like
The-
the land that you took, you're gonna clarify that too later on. Yeah. You're gonna clarify everything. Let's
Mr.
move on.
Luigi, let's not get into any argument because
No, let's
people
move
are
on.
being
Let's move
very
on.
supportive.
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah.
All right, please. All right, so members only for the moment here. David, Jerry, Cam, Scott. Where are we at? Where are you in terms of your understanding where we are? Any more questions for the people who are here?
I mean, Cam made a lot of sense if these things are not, the information's not right that's given to us. Maybe they need to kind of review it one more time to make sure that their numbers and everything that's on this plan is reviewed by them and correct.
You know, and I have a thing I wanted to say too. If everybody's listening, David, Jerry, this is just the board members now. Okay, we're going to step back a little bit and get into our discussion. You know, does everybody feel comfortable? You know, first of all, we have an issue here with this question about the depth of the basement, right? We have the issue of the public way. We have to wait on that. And Cam Merrill's right that we have a request for a special permit and we may potentially need a variance here. And have we been presented with any information regarding that? So, you know, we're not in a position to approve all of these this new engineering that has come up. Is this something that has to be resubmitted to the building department?
Can I speak for a
Yes,
second?
David, you guys go ahead. That's what I'm asking for.
I think there are several issues that need to be resolved before we can make any decisions. First of all, go back to the original thing that we talked about, whether there's a public or private way. That has to be resolved first, because if we don't know what we're doing a private property or a public way, it's a big issue. Second, if it is a public way, then I think the drainage system should be looked at by the town before, if the water is really coming down Fallon Way from all the way up the top of the hill, then maybe we need to look at, pipes that need to go all the way down to drainage down on Wilson Road to actually resolve those issues. Third, I don't think we've addressed the DeStefano's issues about working so close to their property without guaranteeing that nothing's going to happen to their house. I'm not sure why this new proposed house has to have a basement that's lower than the one now. Not sure why it can't have a slab and be built as a regular 2.5 story building on top of a slab and not get involved in, rearranging the, I would say, hazardous landscape that's surrounding these houses. I think there's way too much that is unresolved for us even to think about making any decisions on whether this is a doable project.
No.
Gary, did you want to add?
The only concerns I have right now is that the special permit of a variance, that would be step one. I mean, dropping the elevation and then putting a new foundation and doing what they want to do is irrelevant to me in any way. I don't think, if he brings his foundation down, he's going to be collecting all the water and managing it. Neighbors will get a lot less, but those are the least of our worries. But I think that the most important thing right now is that a special permit, if it's a variance, and that's what we need to be concerned about right now.
Okay, so we have concerns about engineering, basement design, depth, special permit versus variance. And I'm going to add one here to it, and that is that And then maybe this needs to be a private arrangement between the neighbors and the owners. And maybe I've seen this happen before in other construction where a builder or an owner will add their insurance policy, their builder's risk while they're building, builder's risk insurance policy, they'll add to it an endorsement or some type of a policy that protects the neighbors. And
Yep.
it's usually used when blasting, but it's also used in other areas too. And also there's ledge under that house, according to the building commissioner. So, I don't know if they're planning on going down so far. Are they going to encounter ledge and not be able to go down that far? I don't know if that's been considered. But there could be insurance that could be added to protect the Stefanos and the other people. And usually when that happens, I don't want to give advice to anybody, but there's an inspection before and after the insurance, before the construction, and after the construction to see if there's been any damage. So
Yeah,
those
they
are
do a
all-
survey, a video survey.
survey of the property.
Correct.
I know one time I owned a house and somebody blasted up the street and I did get some cracks in my foundation. So just the construction alone can cause issues. So just thinking about that as an issue for them. So we want to protect the people. I think it's really interesting to me that with all of this, that the neighbors still are not opposed to the actual construction. They just want something smaller and they want some kind of proof or help to say that they're not going to be negatively effective and the water is going to be properly handled. So Cam, back to you with your question regarding special permit versus variance. Do you have any recommendations or suggestions? Scott?
I think I'd just like to see a zoning table stamped by an architect, which fully contemplates the dimensional table on the end of our zoning code.
Okay. And I think that's fair enough. Scott, did you want to add to this?
My main concern is the issue that's going to be addressed, and that's the private right of way or public right of way, and how to address that, because that's a huge factor for me.
Okay. So we're not in a position to really make any decisions regarding this property right now. So our choices right now are we to continue this matter, but I think we've actually made a lot of progress today. And I thought it was very positive. I know the homeowner didn't think so, but I thought it was very positive. I'm very impressed by the neighbors and their attempts to to work with this particular homeowner. So we can either continue the matter again, or we can ask that they withdraw it and reapply, which would be my preference. And the reason being is that there's a lot of engineering here and really would like to see the town take a close look at it. I do think it's the best way to go. Maybe we could work out something where we can waive that 35-day, or talk to town council. Maybe we could do something where we could, avoid having to do that 35-day wait period again. Or maybe just keep it on the books, continue it, but just resubmit the plans to the building department and let the various town offices have a chance to comment and look at these things that are being proposed. How does everybody feel about that? I'm talking about members only.
Sounds good to me.
Either
I'm all for
works.
that. I guess that, do they need, 30 days? Do they need more than that to get everything together? I mean, I certainly think that the right of way, public way, private way, whatever, needs to be resolved. I think probably the homeowner needs to get an attorney that can certainly handle that part of it. Because there's a bunch of work to figure that out.
Right. It's not our hunt. We're not supposed to do that. That's not our role.
Correct.
Can I just share something
Yes, sir.
for a moment about this?
Certainly.
the
We usually
right
don't,
of
when
way?
we're discussing, we don't take this in, but for you, yes, go ahead.
I just want to show you something, if you don't mind.
I have to stop sharing if you're going to do that. Okay, go ahead. We all have this plan as well.
Yeah, so this is the right of way has a jog in it from 1954.
Right.
So this plan is 70 years old, and shows Fallon Way like we're showing it, with a jog in it. So if Fallon Way was accepted, it would be shaped like it's shown on the plan.
That's not accurate, sir, but from a legal perspective, just so you know, if it's
Okay.
accepted, the town then owns the entire way okay? And they can force a homeowner to remove any obstructions in the way. And no one has the right to encroach on a public way. And we don't have any right to grant any relief in a public way. However, this could have been a discontinued area. It could have been, many things could have happened. There's several different ways. And as David Walsh pointed out initially, the assessor said there's possibility that it wasn't even done properly. So we need to look at that, but we just found out about it yesterday. So we can't.
Okay, I understand. I understand your point that maybe when they accepted it, they just, they didn't accept it by a plan.
They wouldn't have, no, because they would have had to do their own survey, etc. So we'll find out what was done, what wasn't done once we see the history of it. Unfortunately, it's election day in town, and so the parties that be could not devote the time to it today.
Okay, and then I have one other question. When you say that you want the town to look at all this engineering, what does that mean?
Well, from
Like,
my
how do we
perspective,
go about doing that?
I'd like to see the town take a look at the application for the zoning relief, take a look at the application for the permit, actually first, and see whether or not this foundation, this basement is something that they would allow so close to the other house.
But what departments in the town are you
The
talking
building
about?
department.
Okay.
Can I jump in for a minute?
Not right now, sir. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we're back to our board members. Cam, Jerry, David, what do you think? Scott, what do you want to do?
I would consider continuing this. This would be the best thing to do. How much time do they need?
And what are we asking them to do in that time, though?
Well, it kind of
We need
depends
to
on.
look into our right of way, and then we need to look into if it's a variance or if it's a special permit. That's something that we need to kind of look into before we can, have another meeting, or how long is that going to take us to kind of figure out?
Cam? Scott?
I mean, for me, it's quick. It's just once we get the math. Sorry, I lost my video. Can't really get it back on. I'm trying.
It's okay.
But I think we need somebody who's in charge of this project tell us how long it's going to take them to get all the info that we want.
Can I ask
Okay.
a question?
Sure, Jean, go ahead.
So the roadway, that's going to impact what we do and what we provide in terms of documentation. So would the town of Nahant have their attorney do the research on the roadway and issue a judgment? Is that something we should wait for so that it's clear, it's in paper, it's by your attorney, and we know how to proceed? Because this is a big mystery area right now. And,
I don't know if
we
he will do that. We just found out about this yesterday, Jean. So we don't know yet. I haven't discussed it with council yet, the town council. So I did send him an email.
I'm hesitant to, I don't know what the time frame is. I think we can get drawings updated in 30 days, but it really depends on whatever the town determines and gets back to us with the information. We need that information so that we can proceed.
Okay.
Jocelyn, could we do this? Once the town made a decision on whatever it is, can we give them 30 days from that point for the
Well, if
next?
we're going to continue the matter, we do need to continue it to a date certain.
Okay.
So that's the only thing. But we do have a date on the calendar that for the 22nd of July that David and I were not planning on being at because we both recused ourselves for the matter that's currently scheduled. But David, if you're available, I think everybody else is already going to be there that day.
Mhm.
We could make that the date certain, and then we could kind of work on all these issues and update at that time.
That's fine with me.
Does that sound okay?
Yep.
That's July 22nd.
Works for me.
It gives everyone about a month, and the issues really have been outlined here. Everyone's going to be able to see the video and the minutes that will be posted, and the notes also will be posted from the AI taking note, the new note taking thing we have on our Zoom. So I think that will be helpful. I think the issues really are very clear. We've talked about them, the private versus public right of way. We'll get to the bottom of that. We need to know whether we have a special permit or a variance. And just so that Jean knows, typically a special permit is required for a reconstruction of a property in Nahant. A variance is necessary whenever there's a new nonconformity that's created, however small, that requires a variance. The neighbors are concerned about the basement depth. And that would be nice if your clients would think about the idea that we proposed regarding potential insurance for the neighbors. That's not our call. That's something that would have to happen privately between all of you. But just one of the points that I wanted to bring up, try and protect those neighbors. And then Cam Merrill did ask that the tables, the zoning tables showing the actual, amounts be stamped
Yeah.
by you
Yep.
or an engineer.
I'll submit that. I'll
Okay.
provide that.
And I noticed that the last plan dated June 9th was not stamped by the engineer. I'm sure it
We
was
did
in
submit a
draft.
stamp drawing.
Okay, the one I got said it
Yeah.
was said draft in the name and it wasn't stamped. So maybe
Yeah.
another one came through that didn't come my way yet.
Right.
Probably. I'll check with Jen on that and make sure that the members get a hot copy of that as well. So let's do all of those things and see if we can't come around. I mean, because it does seem to me like you've got some good support here. There are actually people, neighbors are, again, surprisingly supportive of this massive project. And I know the homeowners are frustrated, but remember, you filed your zoning relief in January, and we have to wait 35 days for boards to review. And then we started looking at this project. We only speak to each other on this video in our meetings. We're not allowed to speak to each other otherwise. So it might seem like a long time to you, but to us, we're doing our best, and we've given you as much time as we thought we could each time. So
We appreciate that.
We'll continue this matter with your permission, and I'm gonna have Jen send you one updated form for continuance as well. To July 22nd. We have a 3 o'clock. We have another matter ahead of this. This would go on after that. But it'll be listed as a 3 o'clock hearing. And as soon as the other matter is finished,
Mhm.
David and I will jump on. We're not going to be in the first hearing, and we'll get this taken care of. Is that all right with Scott and everybody? Cam, you're already going to be there.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So July 22nd. All right. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, do I need a motion to adjourn? A motion to continue and a motion to adjourn. I want to bring a motion to continue. Can I have that seconded by someone?
Seconded by Gerardo Raphael.
Any discussion on the motion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
I, Gerardo Raphael.
Aye, Justin Campbell. Anybody else? Cam? Scott?
He hung up.
I'm here.
Oh.
Hi, Scott Frias.
I only need 3 for that purpose, so I have 3.
Yeah.
We're good. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Bye. Have a good weekend.
You too.